You get what you put in. Hi, welcome to another episode of Unlocking the Mind Behind Make More Work Less. My name is Fong. I'm an entrepreneur, business strategist, real estate investor, speaker, and also a best-selling author. And every single day, I help others unlock potentials and guide them to succeed. Today on Unlocking the Mind, we talk about another cognitive bias. And the reason why I have this show is so that we can better understand how our minds work, so that we can make better decisions, make stronger relationships, and also avoid certain cognitive traps. So for today's cognitive bias, let me ask you a question here. Have you ever thought, you know what, if something good happens to somebody, they may have probably deserved it. They are probably doing something good and therefore they put in a lot of time and that's why they deserve that good thing. Well, if you said that, then that's because you believe in the just world hypothesis. Now, how about this? What if somebody was homeless? Would you actually think maybe because they didn't put enough work into it? Now, if you thought about that too, that is also because of just world hypothesis. What exactly is that? Well, that is the belief that the world is a fair place. That is the belief in karma. That's why we hear lots of people, well, I don't want to deal with karma. I don't want to do anything bad because something bad is going to happen to me. And that's why we tend to like thinking, hey, if we do more good things, then good things will happen to us. That's because of karma. So that is the belief in the just world hypothesis. Now, when you think that good things happen to good people and bad things happen to bad people, then logically you do good things. So the positive side of just world hypothesis is that if you keep on thinking that way, you constantly think of doing good things. You are responsible for all the good stuff that happens. You are responsible for all the bad things that happen to you. What you put in is what you're going to get out. The more hard work you put in, the more results that you're going to get out. We assume that the world is predictable, and therefore everything we do has a next reaction or a next result. And if everything we do is good and towards a greater cause, then we believe that the greater things will come and the good results will keep on coming. So that's the positive side of things. If we keep on thinking that way, we would act positively. We would act in the greater good of everybody else. But there's a negative side to this, because if we keep on thinking that if we do good things will happen, then we logically kind of believe that, well, if bad things happen, that's because these are bad people. And that's the negative side of the just world hypothesis. We tend to jump to conclusions, thinking that, well, if that person had something bad happen to them, they probably deserved it. If a fire happens to their house, they shouldn't have been playing with fire. They should be more careful. You kind of jump to conclusions thinking, well, they did something bad, or they were not careful enough, or they weren't thinking about how to protect themselves better. We kind of jump to conclusions thinking that, well, they did something bad or insufficient, and therefore bad things happen. So for instance, if somebody who was homeless, you might think that, well, they probably didn't work hard enough. But we tend to just skip over all the life situations. We don't know what they've gone through, all the life happenstance. So for instance, they may have had a bad childhood. They may have gone through some kind of abuse. They may have lost their jobs. They may have been a victim of the whole economy. And therefore we start victim blaming. We start losing empathy for those people who are going through a hard time, whether they deserved it or not. We kind of jump to the conclusion thinking, you know what, they probably deserved it because it's a just world, because whatever you do good, you get better. And therefore we think that if you had something bad, that's because you did something bad or you didn't do something enough to get that bad outcome. So therefore, the more we believe that the world is fair, the more unfair we become to other people. So that's why we need to understand this hypothesis. We have to understand this mindset so we can avoid that, because the world has so many things happen that you have no control out of. Things happen without any reasoning. And therefore, we can't jump to the conclusion that good things happen to good people and bad things happen to bad people. We have to assume that, you know what, things happen because they happen. We have to have that empathy. We have to have that belief that not all bad things happen to bad people. We have to believe that, you know what, sometimes life happens and people don't have control over the bad things that happen. And therefore, we can't just fully feel that the just world hypothesis happens all the time. We should use the just world hypothesis on a positive standpoint. And once we feel that negativity from the just world hypothesis, we need to reverse that and have empathy to overcome that thought of the just world hypothesis. So that is how we can avoid losing that empathy. That's how we can avoid not using just war hypothesis for good instead of for bad. So hopefully you learned something about the just war hypothesis. And if you like this show, please go back and watch some of my other episodes on Unlocking Mind. We talk about a lot of other kind of biases. And if you like Unlocking the Mind, we have a lot of other shows, the Make More Mind Bites, the Peak Potential Success Show, and of course, the Mastermind Bites that's up every single week. So until next time, thank you very much for your likes, subscriptions, and comments. I love seeing those comments. And until next time, today is the day to unlock your peak potential. I'll see you later.